Alrighty, rock stars. Thank you for calling in for week 4 of our 6-week boot camp series. Hi, Caitlin, and hi, the little baby over there. This has been super fun, and I know I did the first 3 calls. We talked about connecting. We talked about company history, and now we're going to move in the next 2 weeks. Tonight is overcoming objections. What to look forward to is compensation history, and then also your back office tour and kind of getting used to that. And tonight, you guys, we're going to be a little bit more interactive. I have the privilege of interviewing Miss Laura Laurie. And for those of you that don't know her, she is a 2-star Crystal Executive, 4-star Golden Circle, 6-figure income earner in the team. But more than that, she is a heart of service, literally one of the most servant leaders I know. She says yes to every single person. She doesn't even know who's on her team and who's not. She just wants to share Isagenix with the world. She's a mama of 2 beautiful teenagers. She's a wife of almost 20 years, and she's one of my best friends in the whole world. And we are what I would call the yin and the yang to the Dreamers in Action team. And it has been so fun to partner with her and me kind of be this dictator drill sergeant sometimes, and her just be able to cheer you on and lift you up and celebrate you and love on you in the process. But we thought tonight's call would be super fun to kind of be more interactive and more role playing. And so we're talking about overcoming objections. And what I'm going to do is ask Laura, how are you responding to some of the things? And she's going to go back to me on either if there's anything that I wanted to add to that question, or she'll kind of give me another one. So if I say, well, what do you say when people say X, Y, Z? We're both going to kind of answer it. And then, Laura will ask me the next one. And if you guys have comments, you want to put them in the chat, you can. Jen and Adam, who are amazing leaders on here, you guys, they're soon to be 2-star Crystal Executives. They're 1-star Crystal Executive now, but they are 3-star Golden Circles. Adam was actually going to help us with this call, but they've had quite a few life things happening that they weren't sure they were going to make it. But now that he is here, and he has just, they both have great verbiage. Use the chat, or if you want to unmute and chime in, I absolutely invite you to do so. But you guys get your paper and pen out, because I think one of the number one things that stalls you in this business is getting hung up on the objections, and we want to give you exactly what to say and exactly what to do, so that you feel comfortable doing this. So with no further ado, Laura, let's chat about some of the objections. And the first one that I want to ask you about is, what do you say when people tell you, I don't like shakes? I don't drink shakes. I'm not going to drink shakes. I can't do your program.
That's actually becoming one of my most favorite objections lately, because I've had so many people convert over to telling me they love shakes. So when people say I don't do shakes or I don't like shakes, I usually begin by asking questions. Why do you say that? What shakes have you tried in the past? What is it about the shake that you're most concerned about? And really trying to dig in and find out what it is. A lot of times for people, it's consistency. They want to eat food, they don't want to drink their food. So understanding first why they're saying what they're saying is really, really important. And Lauren, if it's okay, I would just like to back up 1 second. When people have objections, the first thing I'm going to say is it doesn't mean they're already saying no. It just means there's things that are unanswered for them, and it's our job to answer them. So when someone has an objection, don't immediately be like, oh my gosh, they're not going to do this. It just means they need more information to make their decision. So keep that in mind. And then the second thing that I've learned along the way is your posture and your confidence is everything. So if Lauren said to me, nope, I can't do this. I don't do shakes. I don't like shakes. And I was like, oh, right. It's probably over at that point. But if I say, oh my gosh, I've helped so many clients who have felt exactly the same way. Tell me a little bit more about that. What is it about the shakes that you're concerned with? Is it consistency, taste? What have you tried in the past? Tell me a little bit more. Right, so now we have a dialogue. So what is it about the shakes, Lauren? What is it about the concept of drinking shakes that you don't like?
Are you actually asking me?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm so sorry. I thought you were I'm waiting for you to go through it. I was like, oh, sorry. You guys, this is the real life ad-lib. Sorry. When I say, so say it again, 'cause I'm typing in the chat, and I thought you were just rolling with this. You said, can I step back another level?
Yeah, no. So when you say that you don't like shakes or you don't want to drink shakes, what is your concern about the shakes? Is it taste, consistency?
Oh, well, I just feel like I'm not going to be full. Like when I drink something, I still am going to want to eat afterwards. So how would I lose weight if I'm having like 2 meals and they're just like chalky? Every time I drink a protein shake, I like clear my throat all day long. I can't get rid of the phlegm.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so now everybody on this call can probably already answer, I never feel full, right? Everyone can answer that because we know we have a complete meal with a full balance of macros. And one of the coolest things is when you have our shake, you feel incredibly satisfied. It's creamy, it's delicious, right? And I'm sure everybody on this call would agree. So simply by asking more questions, we now have a way to say, I totally understand what you're saying. I felt the same way about so many shakes before and avoided them. When I found isogenics, I was blown away. Creamy, delicious, so yummy, and so filling because it's a complete meal. So now, once you dig and you ask a few questions, you can give them a nice, confident, rounded out answer. What would you add, Lauren?
I love it. I think it's awesome. And I'm typing in the chat, you guys, that feel, felt, found is a skill that Laura learned. And that's like how you used to feel, that you're relating to them. I know how you feel. I used to feel, which is the felt, and then what you found. And that can be across anything, right? So where she did that specifically to not feeling full, had it been more like I don't like artificial sweeteners, I don't like things that taste like really sweet or something, be like, oh my gosh, I'm the same way. I hear shake and I think of muscle milk and I already want to gag, and say what I love about isogenics is like they're all natural. They don't have that artificial taste at all. You can easily flavor them a little bit. We have a whole book of recipes. You can add almond extract or coconut extract or a little bit of PD2 will make it fun for you. But they actually taste crazy good. Like I remember people telling me you're going to crave your shakes and I'd be like, dude, you're nuts. I've never craved a protein shake. In my 35 years on this planet, I'm like, I legit crave my protein shakes. Like after a cleanse, that's like the only one thing I want to eat or drink. So using that feel, felt, found is really good. But I only really want to reinforce what Laura said, which is the asking why. Say, I get it, but just out of curiosity, why? Like, what is it about the shakes? Because you're bringing this idea that all shakes are not created equal, and being able to address those specific things and being able to educate them, that instead of feeling shut down, like, okay, they're not going to do this program, they don't want to do shakes, understanding why and either figuring a way around it, or whatnot, or educating them, reminding them that it's 100% money back guarantee, that everything's refundable is great. And then just remembering, you guys, even though in an ideal situation, we want to onboard people with the value pack, that we want to set them up for a whole system. If people are 100% resistant, they're absolutely, I'm never drinking a protein shake no matter what. I mean, Isogenics has nearly 70 products. There are so many things to introduce them to. So if we have to coach them with bars, if, we figure out how they can still benefit from ionics or vitamins or the skincare or the AMP line. I mean, if someone is raising their hand and saying, I want to improve my health, it's not a shakes or nothing, 30-day or nothing. And we can educate them why it works well as a system, and they might not get the same results, but still provide a solution or an option that works for them. So I just wanted to remind you guys to feel empowered to kind of, be able to do that. So hopefully that answers with the shake one. Laura, your turn. Ask me something.
This is one of my favorite ones. I really like to eat whole foods, Lauren. Like I need whole foods. I believe in whole foods and I want to eat whole foods. And so the shake thing isn't going to work for me.
Awesome. So we're expanding a little bit against the shake thing, but now we're into this idea of I only eat whole foods. And I actually want to answer this simultaneously just for the sake of time. Number one is that like I like to eat whole foods, so I don't want to drink a shake, right? But then also the idea of like I won't drink shakes or I don't do anything processed because I only eat whole foods. So if we're talking about the fact that, they still like to eat and they want to chew things and they want to not just drink their food, it's an education about like, oh my gosh, you're absolutely still going to eat food. The shakes are supplementing your diet, or they're going to help with cravings, help you put on lean body mass, help you burn fat, fill in the gaps of the diet of what you're not getting. But you're not just drinking isogenics. Like, what is your favorite dinner? What's your favorite meal? Like, tell me about it. We're going to put this in your program, And I go into this thing that I coach the 80-20 rule. And I say, you can't do 2 shakes and eat Little Caesars every single day, but there's room for Taco Tuesday in the next month. Like, there's room to go have wine on a Sunday in the next month. Like, we're going to kind of figure out how this works for you, but you're absolutely still going to eat food on the program because this is a lifestyle. It's not a diet. It's not about deprivation. It's about, really putting the best nutrition in and you being able to still enjoy some of the things that you want. And then I'll also forward speak into them of what's going to happen and say, but don't be surprised that the things you're in love with right now that you're afraid to give up, if all of a sudden they taste different. Your taste buds are going to change as you alkalize your body and as you get healthier, that even though you're right now freaking out how you're not going to have Taco Bell next week, it might not even sound good to you. So just be open to letting your body kind of transform. And then the second part of that, when they say only at Whole Foods or I'm not going to drink shakes, is really an education piece and starting to ask questions, about how do they feel and saying, you told me no matter what you're doing, you're losing weight. On a scale of 1 to 10, you recommended that your energy is not as high as it is. So do you think the Whole Foods diet is providing everything that you need? And again, kind of going back to that feel, felt, found, and I'll say, what, I get it. As a nutritionist, I used to pack all my foods. Everything was organic. I measured everything. I only ate out of my 6-pack cooler, and I was exhausted. I wanted to nap every single day. I crashed at 2 p.m. I constantly craved sugar. I needed caffeine to function. So I knew I wasn't getting everything I needed from food alone. I'm just going to go ahead and mute whoever that is because I don't know. I'm trying. All right. Laura, you can unmute when it's your turn. I have no idea what just happened there. But then in just saying that, here's the thing, is our food is bankrupt, you guys. And we have changed our nutrition supply, that the vitamins and minerals that was provided in the food 50, 60 years ago is not the same case today. That we use herbicides, we use pesticides, things are picked pre-ripened. It loses nutritional value during the transportation process, why it sits on your shelves. This is why everybody is taking a multivitamin. And this is why people are taking supplements, because they're trying to fill in the gaps. I want you to have kale if you really love it. I don't, but I do love spinach salads and you can still have them. I want you to feel like you can have salmon and chicken and listing these things, but there's a difference in eating clean and reaching your optimal health. And then asking them if they'll look at a tool, and you can send like Peter Greenlaw's video that shows how much more spinach you have to eat today than in the 60s and 70s, how many more oranges, whatever that may be. I'll ask people things like, have you ever heard of anyone with a vitamin D deficiency? Like everybody, right? Like we know that we're not getting everything we need from food alone today. Or so many people take fish oil. Do you eat cold water fatty fish every day? I don't, and saying that the shakes are not the fact that they're not going to eat other food, except that we're filling in the gaps of the diet to help them reach optimal health and laying out what that looks like. But I think, again, like Laura's saying, is asking those questions is when people are like that and just saying, well, are you reaching your goals? Like, do you feel like you're a 10 out of 10? Like when you get up in the morning, do you fly out of bed with confidence naked? Like, do you have bountiful energy all day long? And if they're saying no, and it's like, okay, so are you open to learning about how we can keep on a whole foods diet, but add in something that's going to help you feel a 10 out of 10. So Laura, I'd love for you to, I know you've got some things chomping at the bit of what you'd like to add, and then I'll ask the next question.
When people say they just eat whole food, I always go back to the feel, felt, found. Always. I know exactly how you feel. I was coaching people for years to do the same thing, how to incorporate only whole foods in their diet. We live in a really fast-paced world, and most of us will do our very best to eat as clean as we can, but there's going to be times where we're going to be looking for things that are going to be more convenient. This is whole food based, nutritionally dense, and incredibly convenient. I'd love to show you the macro content and the nutrient content and how well it fits into a whole food diet. That's what I found for me. So most people are looking to supplement their whole food diet in some way. And I usually ask them that. You eat a whole food diet now, how do you supplement what you're eating? And typically they'll tell me, what vitamins, fish oils, et cetera, that they're adding in. And then I can elaborate on why ours is better. So very, very similar, Lauren. I think it's really a lot about when you have objections, it's a lot about asking questions and really understanding where the objection is coming from versus just immediately from your gut responding. When people say they can't or they won't or they don't want to, the next best thing to do is to ask a question. Why? Tell me a little bit more about that.
Love. Okay, so here's one. Oh, I don't want to be on auto ship. Whatever you do, do not sign me up on auto ship. I don't want to be on auto ship. I'm trying this once. If you put me on auto ship, I'm unfriending you.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's probably a lot of people who hear that because auto ship is very common in direct sales companies. And again, I always go back to Feel Felt Found. I got started with a direct sales company on a supplement a few years back, and it was an auto ship. And before I knew it, I had like 7 bottles of this supplement and I couldn't even consume it fast enough. I was so frustrated. So I totally understand how you feel. The beauty of our auto ship is this: you're going to get the lowest price on your product and you are 100% in control. So I want you to get the best possible savings. I want to ensure that all your goals are met. And I want you to know you're in the driver's seat. You can push it out, change it. It is 100% in your control. You're never obligated to anything. But I surely would like you to get the best price and hit your goal. And I can show you how that works. So don't stress about that at all. As soon as people know they're in control over it, I think they settle down. It's the thought that they're locked into something that they get most nervous about.
So good. And I totally 100% agree, you guys. And here's a couple other ways that I address it. Number one is I bring it up to them before they are going to ask something to me, right? So instead of not telling them and just doing it, and all of a sudden they have this email that they were just signed up for auto ship, right? And then you have to like backtrack. I'm telling them, hey, Laura, just so you know, right now I'm going to sign you up for auto ship. This is because it gets you the best deal possible. Like any specials and promotions that are happening right now, like free shipping, aren't even going to work unless you're technically enrolled on auto ship. I also know that this is a lifestyle program, and just like I've been on it for 4.5 years, on day 31, you're never going to want to be without these products. So I'm going to pick something that I think is going to move you in the direction of your goals. However, just like Laura said, you're in full autonomy. You can go in, you can change this, you can edit it, you can push it out. There's no minimum, whatever that may be. But letting them know the benefits. Sometimes if they're very skeptical, if they do want to log into my account right now, I can show you exactly what it looks like so you know that there's no tricks or gimmicks or whatever, and show them on my account how to change the auto ship. But the other is if you're a business builder and you're coaching people, you only get double pibs if they're enrolled on auto ship. So if you sign up 2 people not on auto ship, you're getting single pibs. And I say part of that is how I get my bonus, and I'm going to be in your back pocket, and I'm going to get you the best cleanse experience possible. I'm going to make sure you jump on the trampoline with little Susie this summer. I'm going to make sure you fit in the airplane seat, better than you ever have before, whatever their why was. And say, but part of that is going to require a lot of time. And this is how the company is taking care of me so I can take care of you, and they're like, oh, okay, well, I don't want you to not get paid, or I don't want you to not benefit that, or whatever that looks like. And so be vulnerable and explain that to them. But more than anything else, just like Laura said, is it's just education. Because there's companies out there that you sign your life away, and for the next 12 months, you get the same products every single month, the same amount. And that's not obviously at all what people are interested in, and just explaining what that is. And then knowing your numbers, you guys, knowing the difference between retail price, wholesale price, and then wholesale on auto ship, because it is less, and that does not just for the promotions, but the overall discount throughout the year. And just, again, it's just education of other people.
100%. I would love to ask you a question.
Okay.
And this is probably the one that in the beginning people get the most and they're the most nervous about. So Lauren, here is my objection. Isogenics is really expensive, and I just can't afford to spend money like this.
Such a good one. Okay, you guys, we're probably going to spend a little bit of time on this one. So you might want to go ahead and get a piece of paper and pen out. And if you're driving or cooking or whatnot, go back and listen to this later. Number one, if there's anything I've learned in this industry, listen to Chris Harder's call. Just kidding. No, but really do. Like Chris Harder's closing call or Chris Harder's overcoming objection, because that's verbiage that all of us have adapted. But if people are asking you the cost, you have not done the upfront work of creating value. And that happens in the beginning of the conversation by going through discovery questions, okay? By getting them to tell you what they need, them to tell you what they spend, them to tell you their pain points. So if someone's like, oh yeah, I want to lose weight, and you're like, oh, I think a 30-day system is great for you. it's $595. They're like, whoa, just kidding. I'm going to GNC and my $20 protein is going to work this month. Okay. But if Jackie reaches out to me and is like, oh my gosh, I just saw Sherry's transformation in your wall. I think this is for me. Tell me more about what she's doing. And I'm like, I cannot wait to talk to you. When can you hop on the phone? We get on the phone. The first thing I do is congratulate her and celebrate her. Oh my gosh, Jackie, I'm so glad you reached out. Like, I love helping people. I'm so excited that you're saying yes, that you're ready to take, the leap into your transformation. Let's chit chat for a little bit. Why do you want to do this? Right? And I just start to peel back on a scale of 1 to 10. How committed are you? 9. What's happening in your life right now? I'm forward speaking what she's going to feel like, what she's going to look like. I'm like, can you imagine a few weeks from now when you're flying out of bed with energy, you no longer need 20 cups of coffee to get through the day, and everybody's asking what you're doing because you're in such a better mood. And she's like, oh my gosh, that would be wonderful. I'm so tired. I'm so irritable every day at work. I would love it for my coworkers to want to be around me again, I'm saying, how much weight do you want to lose, or what's the ideal size? When was the last time you were there? And saying, she wants to lose 15 pounds. She wants to be a size 6. I'm like, when was the last time you wore your size 6 jeans? Oh, it's been like 5 years. I'm like, can you imagine right now how you're going to feel when you walk in and you push all those clothes to the back and you get to pull them out of the cobwebs and just slip into your skinny jeans with ease? Like, how is that going to feel? Like, I'm already excited for you. I can't wait for you to send me a picture of the day you put on your skinny jeans, right? So she's excited. She's picturing that this is going to happen. And then you're really getting to figure out what people are spending by asking questions. So I say, I really want to make sure I'm going to recommend the system that's best for you. That's, suiting a budget that fits you, an area that you're already comfortable with spending, right? So people know I'm not trying to upsell them. I'm trying to match them. Walk me through a typical day. What do you spend on breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Do you eat out? Do you cook at home? How much do you think you spend a day? And they might say to you, oh my gosh, we use leftovers all the time. We don't really eat out. Maybe I spend like $8 to $10 a day. We make coffee at home. You're working around that. If someone's like, oh my gosh, easily $30 a day. I get Starbucks every single day. I go to lunch every single day with my coworkers. A lot of times the family goes out to eat. I'm grabbing snacks along the way, like easily $20, $30 a day. Like getting it to see what it is. If you could replace 2 meals a day right now with a shake, what 2 meals do you see that being? Would it be breakfast and lunch? So you can have dinner with your family. You're a big breakfast eater. You would do it lunch and dinner. What does that look like for you? Like getting them to kind of paint that picture. And then you're saying, well, it sounds to me like the system I'm recommending is going to save you money. You're spending $20 a day. The one that I recommend that's getting you all of your snacking options, the free blender, it's going to set you up for success, is only $18 a day. At the end of the month, not only are you going to have your skinny jeans back, you're going to have more money in your bank account. But you can only do that if you've asked enough questions up front. And then the last thing I'll share with you about the cost before Laura takes it away, if someone is on the well, I only spend $5 or $8 a day, I cook all my meals or whatever, I'll ask, especially with women, how much are you spending on your exterior self? I remember when I was a point, I was so uncomfortable in my skin, the amount of money I was spending on new purses because I couldn't buy new jeans, on manicures, on pedicures, on waxing, on tanning, all of this because I wanted to feel better. Like, is there an area anywhere there that we could cut, that we can invest in your health? Would you be willing to do your toes yourself this month instead of getting a pedicure so you can get started on a 30-day system? Get real with people and get raw. And remember, everything is 100% money back guarantee. Telling them, I say, I know that right now on June 1, you wouldn't go to the grocery store and buy all of your food for the whole month, which is essentially what you're doing for Isogenics. But at the end of the month, and if you reallocate, your grocery budget into this, you will save money. But if not, or, if it doesn't work or whatever, you can send it back. Everything's 100% money back guarantee. And it's also an introduction to bring in the Eat for Free program, saying, you know what, I get it. And one of the best things I ever did was get started with my mom and my sister that my products were immediately paid for. Who are 2 people you want to get healthy with? Let me show you how to get your products paid for. So I think when people think it's expensive, it's because they don't see the value. And if they don't see the value, it's because you're rushing an enrollment before getting to know them, getting to know their pain points, getting to know their why, getting to know their budget. Once you've done that, there's a reassurance that it's 100% money back guarantee and an introduction to get their products paid for by opening up the opportunity. Back to you, Laura. I know you have some gold here.
Wow, that was awesome. And I totally agree. I'm really echoey.
I'll mute.
Let's see, is that better? That's better. Okay, cool. Yeah, that was awesome, Lauren. And really, when you're talking to someone, you're really building a relationship with them and really understanding what's important to them. And when people say to me, like right out of the gate, and I know a lot of you get this, and it's like, it sets you off balance a little bit. You'll like say, oh, I love Isagenix, it's so great. And they'll say, well, how much does it cost? And you're like, oh no, what do I do? Right? You get that like panic feeling, like, what do I do next? I always say, it is my job to understand fully what your goals are, what your lifestyle is like currently, and the budget that you're working with. And when I have those three things, I'll give you my expert opinion on the best way to hit your goals, meet your budget, and fit it into your lifestyle so you have success. Is that okay? And I get a sure. So then it's a matter of starting the conversation, like Lauren said, like what do you eat for breakfast? What do you eat for lunch? Do you eat on the go? Do you go out to dinner? Do you cook all your meals? Do you go out for coffee? All those things that Lauren said. So you start to walk them through, but I always start with their goal and why is they have that goal, because that's the most important thing. I want to lose 20 pounds. Why do you want to lose 20 pounds? Why is that important to you? When you dig on that and you really understand at the end of the day, if that person says they have $5 a day, but you say to them, okay, would you be willing to spend $10 a day knowing in 30 days that you'll be halfway to the goal? Like, what would the value be of losing 20 pounds to you? When you feel sexy with your husband again, when you feel good in your skin again, when your confidence is back, what is that worth to you? Right? Because sometimes you're saying I only have $5 a day or whatever, but when you tie it into what is the value really associated to achieving the goal you have, right? Would it be worth it to you to invest $10 a day to get there? So really, that's all I have to add on the cost. I think, Lauren, you nailed that on the head, but those are probably just some of the verbiage points that I use when I talk to people. And don't feel off kilter when the very first question someone asks you is, how much does it cost? They could get started with, sleep spray for $12.95. I mean, we really need to know more about them in order to figure out how to get them started, right? We've got products from $10 all the way up to they can get started with the business builder pack for $1,200. So you don't know how much it costs until you know what they want out of it. That's what I got, girl.
Awesome. Okay, here's your question, right? Oh, that sounds great, but I don't do MLM. I hate MLMs. I won't do anything with an MLM company. They're all scams. I can't buy your products. You're part of an MLM.
I've actually honestly never ever had this, but I love it. I have had people ask me if this company was an MLM or if it was a pyramid scheme, but I've never had anyone refuse to do business with me because of it. So what I typically say when people say, is it an MLM? I say, actually, it is a network marketing company. It is a referral-based business. Isagenix does not do any marketing or promotion. There's no retail business. It's all based on word-of-mouth advertising. And we're incredibly successful because people have amazing, amazing transformations and experiences. Tell me a little bit more about what experience you've had. I know, unfortunately, there's been some bad companies in the past, but what has your experience been? And that's usually what I say, because I want to hear a little bit more. I mean, maybe they got involved in some crazy scheme that's nothing about what Isagenix is. And I tell them it's not an MLM. We don't have multi-levels. Anyone can earn more than anyone in this organization. But, you can get health coaching, support, and reach your goals by someone who personally cares about you, or you can walk into GNC and buy something off the shelf and have no support, no help, or no coaching. And that's really what we're all about. So that's how I would answer that question, and what sets us apart and makes us better. Lauren, you've had a little bit more experience with this. I'm not doing business with an MLM. Share with us.
So you guys, I used to tell people that, like as a nutritionist, I was like, yeah, you're part of an MLM. Like, no, thank you. And that's honestly because all I ever knew was like the stigmas. I knew about the bad companies. And honestly, you guys know how this works. If you go onto Yelp, you're going to see a gazillion bad reviews before you find a good review. Like I think about my favorite restaurant in Cherry Creek. I go there once a week. They're amazing. And I always want to go in there and give good reviews because the only thing on there is bad reviews because people are more inclined to bitch about something than celebrate something. You know, when people have a bad experience, they're like, ah, right? But if they have a good experience, they don't do anything. And so that's how I was with network marketing companies. And just like Laura did of kind of asking those questions, but I relate to them. And I say, you know what? I get it. Like I ran from this industry. I didn't want anything to do because all I knew was all the bad stuff, all the stigmas, everything that, you know, people that had done it wrong. And I didn't realize all the ones that did it right. And if it's okay, I'd love to share a few stories with you, you know, and I'll bring it back to something they know. Like if you ever had a bad massage, like I'm sure you have, you get them regularly, right? Doesn't mean every massage therapist is bad. What if that was the only one you had and you had missed out on all the other really good massages, you know? Or I'm like, have you ever had food poisoning from something? Was it a burger? Was it this? Like, was it that you never ate that food again? Or, you know, just that restaurant or something around it? So there's some really illegitimate companies out there. There were companies that moved money around. They didn't have a good quality product, you know, whatever it was. And say Isagenix is different. And when you understand the Isagenix story, which was call number one in the history and what we did, people actually are excited to do this because they know they're getting a quality product. So if you guys go back and watch Bootcamp number one in the company history, and you can say John Anderson took his product out of retail so that he could have a no compromise product, so that no one would tamper it, so that he was delivering the best nutrition. That's why we're word of mouth, you know, that we wanted it to always maintain that. They go, oh, okay. So it's really just kind of debunking their fear around it and relating to it and saying, you know what, there have been bad companies, there have been bad products out there. But you know what? One of the ones I love is Mary Kay. They've been around 100 years. They've got a solid product. For me personally, I'd rather go to the mall and go to Sephora than go to my friend's house and buy a foundation out of a trunk. But if that works for you, it's a good product, right? It's not all bad. And just kind of relating to that and saying, like Laura said, you know, we can send you to GNC and they're going to send you your shakes and cross your fingers. Or when you get started with us, I'm going to coach you, I'm going to mentor you, you get this community, like supporting everything they get and why the business is the way that it is. So the last question that I've got for you, Miss Laura, is, well, I don't want to do this forever. So like, I'll do it, but like, I mean, what happens if I quit on day 30, then I'm going to, you know, lose all the results I just gained. I'm going to gain all this weight back or whatever, because I'm not doing this forever. I don't want to be on a diet for the rest of my life.
That's actually my favorite one because that's what I share with so many people. And I would say, tell me how many other diets you've tried and what did you have to do and how successful were you with those? And then I would say what's really cool about Isagenix and why I have been with this company for over 4 years is because it's not a diet. It's really a foundation for wellness and creating your healthiest life. I lost 25 pounds and 38.5 inches 4 years ago, and I've never found it, never looked for it. It's never come back. And that's because we all eat, right? You're going to keep eating the rest of your living days. You're going to put food in your body. Wouldn't you want to put the most nutritionally dense food in your body the rest of your life? So you're still going to go on vacation. You're still going to live your life. This is really all about creating a lifestyle that you never have to quit, stop, start, but just creating it for health for the long term. So people do and have come from the mindset of diet, and really helping them to see that this is not a diet and that maintenance, just like they're going to have breakfast every day, shake is a great breakfast or a great lunch every single day. That's really where we fit in from a maintenance perspective, for sure. What do you add to that, Lauren?
Totally agree. And I will say things like, here's the deal. You're not going to be on a 30-day forever. You know, after this, if you want to do 1 shake a day or a few shakes a week instead of 2 a day, cool. I haven't cleansed weekly since I got started on Isagenix, but I love it that I also don't diet anymore, because if I want to have pancakes on brunch or I want to have wine on Thursday or I want to do this, that I can cleanse whenever I want and in 24 hours hit that reset button, that this is the first time I'm not yo-yoing back and forth, you know? I say, you know what, I work out every single day. And I love that we have Ionics to support my adrenal health. Like, I love that these are the first vitamins I've ever taken. And I was a nutritionist prescribing vitamins and was like the worst compliant patient myself, because I was tired of opening up all these bottles. They were spilling everywhere, having turmeric explode in my luggage, that I wasn't taking them. that these little packets that are so easy and you don't even have to take with food, I actually really take. So let's do this. Let's at least just start with the first few weeks. And if you hate it and you don't get results, send it back. And if you fall in love with it like I do, we'll figure out how this is a lifestyle and that you're not on a 30-day system. And I am a fitness girl, so I always bring that in. And I say, think about someone who's trained for a marathon. When they finish that marathon, they probably aren't back to running a marathon, but they still run. They still work out. That you might be a little bit more strict for a short period of time, but you're not on a 30-day system inevitably for the rest of your life. But bringing them back to what are the problems we have in the environment? What does Isagenix do? And just say, if you want to reach your optimal health, we're going to figure out how to use these products, because it is a lifestyle, just like working out is a lifestyle. But it's not that like, oh my gosh, if you don't do 2 shakes a day, the pendulum's going to come the other way. And just getting them to kind of see that. So you guys, there is so much information out there about overcoming objections. I mean, if you just Google overcoming objections and Isagenix and click on YouTube, you will find things from Isagenix podcast, from Chris Harder, from Tanya Kirkpatrick, from Tracy O'Malley, from Laura Stevens, from our team, from Jen and Adam Feichter, from Rachel, from Laura, from Kisa. I mean, do it and find the verbiage that works for you. We tried to highlight some of the most common ones, which was cost, shakes, MLM, Whole Foods, Program Forever, whatever that may be. But what I want to leave you with is, do not feel like you have to be the expert. Some of you are brand new and you're going, oh my gosh, I can never say what Lauren just said. I'm never going to be able to talk to someone like Laura would. And I'm going to remind you that 5 years ago, Laura and I did not sound like this. I would message Janie and I would be like, they said they don't do shakes. And she would say, okay, ask them this or say this, right? People would say, I don't want to eat Whole Foods. And Laura was like, okay, fine, just enjoy your dates and, chia seed, flaxseed ball, right? Like, she kind of didn't know what to say. That for some of you that are getting started, the feel, felt, found is a really good one, of just like, I used to feel the same way. This is what I found, right? And trying to share with them, or just saying, you know what? I know I've heard other people say that before. Let me get you some information on that and I'll get back to you. I want to make sure you feel good about this. And just giving yourself the permission to not know it, and then find the information, right? So if someone says to you, like, I don't want to be a part of an MLM, and you kind of don't know what to say to that, reach out to your sponsors, reach out to one of your leaders, someone in your upline, right? And just say, hey, this person was really on board, but they don't want to be a part of an MLM. Has anybody ever said that to you before? What do you think I should say? And we can coach you how to set up a 3-way call, an ATM, a group message, something of that sort, that we're getting the right information. So like Laura said, don't be stuck with the objection as a no. Use it as a way to get them the right information and just ask questions. So Laura, thank you for being my counterpart tonight. And thank you guys for being on here. Hopefully this was helpful. If you guys have any questions, always feel free to reach out. Thank you for being a part of our Tuesday tribe and getting on here. I know it's late for the East Coast. So buenos noches, and we will see you next week, week 5. Bye.